Okay, I know you can't see my face too well, but the biggest thing I'm trying to convey is not as much my face as it is my message. I've noticed that prominent actors and singers, meaning pretty well known ones, get disowned by their families because this goes in a subject about disownerment or being expelled or disowned or cast out of a situation because of your decisions in life. I've seen people get that way because they see folks doing something that they just wouldn't do. So instead of saying they wouldn't do it, they pretty much just throw people out. Like the old saying, throw out the baby with the bathwater. Let's see if I can do it like this and maybe get some more understanding here. No, I mean, we live in a day and an age where people just decide today's the day that we're going to act like a bunch of nuts and a bunch of hooligans because we pretty much don't want to listen to the fact that these people, these honest people, I didn't say honest in the sense of their purity. I meant honest in the sense of, hey, I am honestly a singer. I am honestly a rock star. I'm honestly whatever I am. And it gets to the point where people just be like, that might be true. That might not be true. Overlook the way I look and overlook where I'm doing this at. Just remember, I ain't perfect. I'm not. Hold on a minute. But okay, gonna say, what gets me is these people they're honest in the sense of they told the truth about their careers. They told the truth about who they were. Okay, you're a gospel singer. You're a rock star. Okay, yes, even gospel singers got disowned by family members because the family members wanted the gospel singer to be all evil, and they couldn't do it because they were too busy in love with God to want to be that way. And it got aggravating after a while because people don't see life the way others do. Yes, I have a 5 o'clock shadow big time, but that's because I'm trying to grow that back there. Every so often I shave my beard off and then I try to let it grow back. And there's a reason behind that, and I'll tell you later on. But my point is, when a person has done something that you disown them for, what is wrong with you people? Sometimes people are okay. You want an example of it? My wife got done that way. My wife, okay. We were living in a area in the state. We okay. Let's backtrack about a certain time in history. I won't give out details of dates and stuff because if I do, a lot of y'all is going to come back and say, well, I thought this and that of you and you didn't tell me the truth about something. Well, knowing I didn't lie to y'all, y'all just assumed something before you asked me questions. But I digress. Let's get into truth. Truth is, okay, why does it seem like that there are people out there that will be like this? You're a guy or a girl and you actually have a family and your family will, okay, I'll give you a good example. My wife, when we first got together, I think that her family thought that she was going to marry me and then end up living, both of us living either with them or by ourselves, but near them, and we didn't. We were living in the county I came from in this state. And we were living in the town that I was living in at the time because I was already living here at the time, and we was living in the county and town that I was living in. And so what happened was we were gaining a relationship with my mom and what I call dad, which is my mom's man. And we were all being like family, father-in-law, mother-in-law, or dad-in-law, how you would say it, and the new family member, which was my wife, and then there was myself. And so they kind of disowned her because she wasn't falling in that plan that they had for her. They wanted her to live down there, and she wouldn't. So they disowned her. Tragedy happens. Everybody has to live like sardines in one position. I'm not going into great details. And while doing this, we got to, after moving around in this county, got to thinking, well, we might need to be closer to them because of Mama, which is my mother-in-law. Have to be closer to her. Well, we did that and also be closer to that family. Well, then is when people were taking advantage of us. Didn't ask us if we could babysit. There was one sister-in-law that had two boys, and they never thought about our romantic life. They never thought about our private life. We weren't supposed to have a private life with them. It was more like if they want to have us babysit the boys, we would do it because we love the boys, but we didn't feel right that they just decide to barge in our lives and say, here, we want you to babysit. And didn't even bother to explain why at that moment they wanted us to. It was more like, if we're going to do something we don't want the boys to be around for, then you need to babysit them. That was fine, but thing is, you didn't ask us if we wanted to get intimate with each other like God expects a good husband and wife to do. You didn't ask, are we going anywhere that day? You didn't ask nothing. And there were times that y'all just didn't come when you were supposed to come back to get the boys. You would say you're coming back at a certain time to get them, and it'd be way later before you did. You just willy-nilly taking advantage of the whole situation. And it got aggravating. So then we had issues with that. And then not only that, but then people over at that one place where everybody was packed in there like sardines, if you didn't act a certain way and it be the way they wanted you to act, they pretty much got mad at you mentally, physically, and they wanted to get up rough with you. I mean, it was like saying I couldn't even hardly I'd have to be in private just to have to talk to my own mom on the phone. And that made me mad because I like talking to my mom when I can. There might be a day I don't talk, period. But there is going to be some time in history I will talk to her. And that means that when I don't feel like it, let me. But thing was, no, I was supposed to be that guy that didn't talk to his family like that. Because if they want to disown their family, I should disown mine. I'm like, no thank you. I don't believe in all that. My heart does not go for that. Then the next thing I know, I got into a fight with a brother-in-law of mine over the fact of something that he didn't bother to ask questions as to what really went down. He heard something, got mad at me about it, and then the next thing you know, well then it was like, didn't want me even to talk to my own mom on the phone, and you say anything a certain way, you trying to blame somebody for something. How am I supposed to be blaming the exact people you don't really care much about because you disowned them when they moved to be with me? And that was their choice to do it. I didn't ask her to move down here. I did not. That was her choice. But you know what? When you get to disowning people over stupid stuff like that, that's just messed up. I mean, when you go, hold on, I gotta close this door. When you go disowning people like that, and you basically said that if you do this, then here's the consequence from it, meaning I'll kick you out of my life, and whatever I am doing with my life that should involve you, no thank you. Hold on. Hold the phone. What is the issue? Issue is that people need to stop the fussing, need to stop the fighting, and just say, look, you know good and well as I do, that if you have a problem with somebody, say it. But the beginning of it all was that y'all decided that when we decided it's time to come back here, and I'll come to find out, y'all had decided that by doing it like that, that made you say, and this is coming from this one really ridiculous sister-in-law of mine, basically because we're living where we are now in this county, which was the county we started from before we moved, that we've pretty much kicked ourselves out of our nephew's life, which is her two boys. Excuse me, but you already decided before we moved who's going to babysit and who ain't going to babysit, and nobody at that place we were living at is going to babysit. So you made it clear that, and anybody at that trailer has been kicked off of the family album. It's a program where you and others can put pictures on there, and people can be added or taken off. See, that all that went down like that, and yet you say the move has to do with we move plus we're just owning them boys. No, no, no. You took us out before before we did this. So, in other words, you're trying to tell a bunch of lies. Why does people do that? It's like the old saying that a lot of people have said, and it may not be an old saying, it may be one that someone just made up and I'm repeating it. I don't know, but it's like this saying here. People will make excuses to disown you. They'll even say some of your choices in life make them disown you. So like if you say, okay, I'm going to do this right now, get ready to be put out of some people's lives because they're not going to want to hear you say anything about, well, this is what I got to do or not do. They just automatically say, you made a bad decision in their mind, whether it be bad or not, that's God to decide. But you say, well, you made a bad decision with your life. So what that means is for those decisions, here's your consequence. You can't deal with this man. You can't deal with this woman. You're like, what gives you the right to think that you can sit there and just say, well, if you don't do things this way or that way, I'm going to disown you. You know what? I'm going to do what God told me to do, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. If what God wants me to do don't fall in your rules or laws or categories, guess what? Tough luck. I'm going to do, like I said, what God told me to do. And if you don't like it, whatever. I can't do nothing but what God told me to do because that's what I choose to do. If I have to leave a certain area because of some mess going down, then I will do that if God allows me to and wants me to. It isn't going to be about basically what you say or don't say. It's about what God says and doesn't say. If God doesn't want me in that area, then I won't be there. If God says to stay, I'll stay. And that's the same thing with my wife. She is going along with the same plan. That what God told her to do is what she will do. And even though y'all done her all that way, she went down there to be alone with y'all for so many days in this month. Knowing y'all don't deserve it none. But she did it anyway because she has a heart and because she cares about y'all. So, what is that supposed to tell you? That y'all have some issues. I'm going to tell y'all something. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that way. But seriously, I'm going to tell you something. When you go disowning people because they made decisions in their life that them and God had agreed on, then why be that way? Oh, well, you want to follow God, so I'm not following you. Following me or whoever you're talking about means you're not going to let them have certain privileges that you are in control of because of their choices to follow God. So we follow God, so we had to leave there. So in other words, that means that what you're saying is our consequence is that we don't get to deal with them boys because it's your choice if we do it or not, which it should have been God's choice, but you don't care about God no more. You threw God out like crazy. Why do y'all go to church if you don't believe in God? And you say, well, how do you know what they believe in? Come on. If you're sitting there acting like what people can and cannot do around you, and you're saying it to basically get back at them for what they did that you didn't like, man, I think that tells me, and it should tell you, that those people did not have the beliefs they said they did. Come on. Well, if you take and decide to do things a certain way, depending on what that certain way is, then that means that you cannot do this and that around me. So you're trying to ban us from seeing them boys because of the fact that you don't like the fact that we moved. Why stay when you done decided before we moved who will and will not babysit them boys? So you kicked some people out of the story. Okay? So you made your decisions on things, and it counted some people out. So if you done counted people out of the story, then why in the world are you upset because of what they're doing now? Huh? You put them out yourself. So apparently they can do what they want to, and it should not have no effect on you. Yes, they may be away from you, but that don't mean that they're not going to come back and visit. Can they visit at all? Oh, I'm sorry, may not can, because you might be done kicking them out forever. Well, that's on your head, and you do what you want to do. But when you find out it's a bunch of crying shame about it, don't blame me about it. I told you not to do certain things. But that's the point. You can't listen to God. You got to listen to yourself. Oh, you're so self-absorbed, so self-centered that you are your own deity. What? You worship yourself, and yourself says to be mad at people like us because we didn't follow your beliefs. Well, my belief is that if bad things happen and God says to get out the way before it gets worse, all you got to do is just do it. I don't see what the problem is with that. But you see more wrong with it than I do. So you have it your way and I'll have it my way. And my way is God's way. So if you don't like that, sorry. Sorry, Charlie, but you know what? Booyah! No, I'm just saying stop the fussing and fighting. Get it right. Do what God says and be happy. Alright. God bless you. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Just stop disowning people in your life because they made decisions you don't approve of. Get mad at people if they make decisions in their life that don't go along with God's plan. That's where you're supposed to be upset about. Not, well, you didn't kiss my butt, so I'm going to be mad. Wait a minute. I thought last time you're supposed to be kissing up to anybody with God, not to some person on earth. So if you're not God, why do you think I'm supposed to be doing what you said? All right, now stop it. You might want to disown me for saying all this stuff, but you know what? It was high time I said it because you know what? I'm getting tired of folks acting like they got everything going on in their life. And that if you don't follow their plan with what they're doing in their life, then no, you can't be dealing with them no more. Well, fine, be that way. All right, God bless you and have a nice evening.